It is now my great pleasure to give the floor to the European Parliament President, Martin Schulz. A very warm welcome. Thank you for finding time to be with us, Mr. President. And straight over to you, because I know your timetable is very pressing.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Mr. Hütter, for your warm welcome. I'm afraid that I couldn't follow the presentation. And I found the poster wonderful. Whatever the weather, we have to move together. I find this is still valid until today. Prime Minister Samaras, ladies and gentlemen, President of Business Europe, ladies and gentlemen, let me first thank Business Europe for the invitation and for organizing a conference on improving Europe's industrial competitiveness. And thank you, Jackie, for your presence. I know this is always a risk for speakers when she is behind one, so I tried to be as fast as possible. I say as fast as possible because as short as possible, that is to make too much pleasure to her. As some of you might know, industry is a topic that is very dear to me personally. Not only because I was for many years the mayor of a coal mining town. I know about the importance of industry for the European economy. Ladies and gentlemen, our industry is the backbone of our economy. It produces 4/5 of all our exports and accounts for 1/3 of all jobs in Europe. That means 57 million people are industrial workers. European industry is a global champion in many key areas, in automobile manufacturing, in mechanical engineering, in chemicals, in pharmaceuticals. Moreover, the financial and economic crisis has driven home one important lesson. Countries with a solid industrial basis have fared much better and are having less trouble finding a way out of the crisis. And let's not forget, industry is a growth driver, generating positive spillover into other economic sectors. However, not all is well. Firstly, other powers are on the rise. China has become the world's leading industrial nation, and India, Brazil, and Russia are catching up. And these countries produce goods more cheaply than we do. Secondly, as a consequence, industries are relocating. More and more jobs are being moved to countries outside Europe. According to the Commission, 3.5 million jobs have been lost since 2008. Thirdly, rising energy prices across EU member states, the credit crunch, an important, in my eyes, one of the biggest obstacles for the relaunch of economy in Europe, and insufficient investment in research and development have put even more pressure on European industry. If we want to maintain a competitive industry while keeping our high social and environmental standards, if we want to safeguard our jobs, our standards of life, and if we want to generate growth, if Europe is to have a good future, we must make sure that the innovative and sustainable products of the 21st century are designed and manufactured in Europe. And I repeat, designed and manufactured. This dream that Europe is the engineering office of the world, but the plans are elsewhere. This is a wrong thinking and a dangerous one in my eyes. To ensure, ladies and gentlemen, all this, we need a strong industrial policy. An active European industrial policy, in effect, represents a return to our roots, and therefore I found the poster so justified. The European integration process had its origins in the European coal and steel community. On 9th of May 1950, the French Foreign Minister Robert Schuman put forward a fascinating plan. Coal and steel, the key war industries, would be placed under joint supranational supervision. This bold initiative, bore fruit. The internal market grew out of the seed of the coal and steel community, and for the last 6 decades, we have been living in a united, peaceful, and prosperous Europe without borders. However, we have to be honest. In recent years, the European Union has, in developing the internal market, focused on services, sometimes to the detriment of industry. Therefore, I would like to compliment Commissioner Tajani. This is perhaps a surprise for you, because his former boss was not my best friend, but I have to compliment him for putting industrial policy back where it belongs, on the top of the agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will allow me, I would like to put forward a 7-point plan for the smart re-industrialization of Europe. Point 1, we need targeted investments in research and development, because today Europe is lagging behind. Europe spends 2% of its GDP on research and development. United States of America, the figure is almost 3%. You know that the European Parliament fought hard for the research budget during the last multi-annual financial framework, because we know that European research policy generates synergy and European value added. We believe that much needed flexibility can be generated via the Horizon 2020 program. If we don't step up our efforts, we risk losing many talented scientists. And this is at a time when Europe needs innovation more than ever in order to hold its own against global competition. And ladies and gentlemen, we lost. The European Parliament fought hard for more money for research and development. And I must state here, in presence of the acting president of the Council, we lost. We got not more money. And therefore, I add to this first point, if we continue always to ask for more investment in research and development, and at the end, we maintain with the same amount in the European budget for agriculture, with the same amount for cohesion policy, and I have nothing against both branches of our budget. And we maintain by saying, but we have to reduce the overall amount, then it is not necessary to be a professor in mathematics to count. The same money for agriculture, the same money for cohesion policy, but less money in the budget, then you must cut. And where we cut? In research and development. Point 2, we need targeted investment in infrastructure, both in improving transport networks and in developing energy and broadband networks. One key instrument could be the new funding mechanism, which is part of the European Union's Connecting Europe facility for infrastructure projects of joint interest in the area of trans-European transport, energy, and telecommunication. It aims at using its budget of 29.3 billion euros for the next 7 years to speed up the completion of trans-European networks. Point 3, to unlock the potential of industry, we must create an innovation-friendly environment. For one, this means reducing the regulatory burden imposed both by the European and the national level. The next Commission, ladies and gentlemen, should put all regulation to the test if they throttle job creation and growth.